Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Shafaq Imtiaz, your biology teacher. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy through these unusual times. We were doing our third chapter, biodiversity, and we had discussed biodiversity and its importance. We also started our next topic, classification, and we had done till basis of classification. Today we will resume the topic of classification. We will discuss aims and principles of classification and hierarchy of taxonomy. So, let's begin the show. After basis of classification comes aims of classification. Why biologists need to classify organisms in groups? To answer this question, they designed some aims and principles. The aims are to determine similarities and differences among organisms so that they can be studied easily, to provide an idea about the sequence of evolution of organisms from simple to complex, to express relationships based on common features, to name and place the organisms in a proper group. Let's discuss them one by one. First is to determine similarities and differences among organisms so that they can be studied easily. In order to find out the similarities and differences, biologists classify organisms. If organisms with many differences are kept in the same group, it will be difficult to study all the characters at the same time. In the given picture, all organisms belong to the same larger group named fish, but they belong to different subgroups on the basis of morphological differences among them. To provide an idea about the sequence of evolution of organisms from simple to complex. It is thought that birds have evolved from reptiles. Some reptiles have gone through many changes and after a long time, as it can be seen in the given picture, that they became birds. Reptile is a group of organisms which crawl on their belly, and birds are flying animals. So both of them belong to the same larger group due to having same evolutionary history, but belong to different smaller groups due to many differences among them. Next is to express relationships based on common features. In the given picture, all organisms are kept in the same group, that is reptiles, because they all crawl on their belly and have similarities in their structures. Last is to name and place the organisms in a proper group. After organisms are placed in a proper group, they are named according to the group they are placed in. Like in the given picture, all the vegetables belong to Brassica group and they are named likewise. Next comes principles of classification, and the principles are: organisms are classified on the basis of apparent similarities among them. Means if they have same size, shape and color, they will be kept in the same group. Organisms will be kept in the same or closely related groups if they have same or similar structure. Or if the anatomical features are similar, they will be kept in the same or closer group. The organisms who share same evolutionary history will be kept in the same group. Next topic is hierarchy of taxonomy. Hierarchy means rankings or levels. In this system, organisms are placed in larger and smaller groups. Like if we talk generally about our province, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa has many cities, including Peshawar. And in Peshawar, we have different areas like Kent area. Then in Kent area, we have different roads like Warsak Road, and in Varsak Road we have different colonies, and in colonies we have different streets, and in streets we have houses. So Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is largest group and house is smallest. In the same way, organisms are also placed in different groups or levels. Such levels of classification are called taxa. Singular is taxon. A Swedish biologist, Carolus Linnaeus, proposed a system to classify organisms in larger and smaller groups. This system goes from general to specific or specific to general, like a ladder. Largest group is general and smallest group is specific. The smallest unit of classification is called species. It is a group of organisms that can interbreed and produce fertile offsprings. Fertile means that can reproduce. Organisms of same species have same number of chromosomes. Like all human beings have 46 chromosomes in the nucleus of each cell of their body. If the number of chromosomes is changed, that means the organism belongs to different species. Biologists tried to define species as closely related organisms, like donkey and horse. But when a male donkey crossed with female horse, they produced infertile mule. Infertile means which cannot further reproduce, and the process of reproduction was not natural. It was done artificially by biologists. So closely related organisms do not belong to same species group. They are different species. Biologists also defined species as sexually reproducing organisms. Sexually reproducing organisms are those which have male and female genders. But there is no gender in case of bacteria, fungi, and other unicellular organisms. They all reproduce asexually. In bacterial reproduction, a bacterial cell divides into two, and in fungi, an outgrowth appears which becomes the whole organism when it matures. All the biologists now agreed that a species can be the one which have organisms with similar characteristics, and those which can interbreed naturally and produce fertile offsprings, and they cannot interbreed naturally with the members of other species, and they can be differentiated from other species. After species comes genus. Many closely related species are kept in the same group called genus. Plural is genera. Like Felis is a genus of 7 species of cats. Family is a group of closely related genera. Like Felidae includes many genera including Felis. Order is a group of closely related families, like order Carnivora has many families, including Felidae. Then comes class. It is a group of closely related orders, like class Mammalia is a group of many closely related orders, including order Carnivora. Next is phylum. All the closely related classes are grouped into phylum. Like phylum Chordates has many classes including class Mammalia. Last is the kingdom. It is the largest taxon. It includes all closely related phylums. Like kingdom Animalia has many phylums including phylum Chordates.